Welcome back to another episode of Talking Ball with Steveospeak. We are going to get into some BR drafts. Definitely react to the trade news we just got today. Talk best ball portfolio, and talk any other football, best ball questions you want to talk about. I'll be on later this afternoon with Whoheems to really go through every game, but we can talk about a few things here for sure as well. I'll drop a link to Whoheems channel later, so make sure you check that out as well. Hope everyone is having a good day. Let me know how you're feeling, what you thought of the game last night, what you thought of week 5 in general, and where people feel like we stand. So yeah, the big thing, of course, just about 15, 20 minutes ago, I think as Ian Rappaport was with it first, there was a trade. The Bengals have a new quarterback. It is Joe Flacco. Interdivision trade, based on how he played the first couple of weeks. Flacco, probably not the first choice. I think would have rather seemed like a James Winston or a Kirk Cousins, of course, but it makes some sense. Flacco is going to have no issues stepping back once Burrow come back if say Flacco keeps the Bengals competitive. And look, I mean, I think, I don't know if they can protect Flacco well enough, but we saw Flacco a couple years ago step into the Browns role, have a good stretch last year. He had a good game or two. I mean, overall wasn't that great. But it's happened. I mean, it needed to happen. Jake Browning has been pretty rough. Even with like the garbage time got some chase teams and us there last week, but it's been rough. I don't know if Flacco will be ready to go this week, but yeah, I'll be interested to hear what the breakdown is on that. Let me check out the comments, and then we will get into our first draft. I've got Eddie in here. Good to see you, Eddie. Check my portfolio hourly, even on Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. I hear that, Eddie. Kicks is in here. It's my first year playing best ball. I check my portfolio about as much as Eddie. No, I hear that, Kicks. And yeah, it's fun, and it's good to look at, and it's good to consider. And we'll talk about some things portfolio-wise as well. We'll do a draft first, and then we'll jump back into portfolio. Yeah, Flacco to the Bengals. Yeah, we got Joel Worth in here. Sup, fam? You're doing well, Joel. Week 5 was crazy. I picked so many wrong teams to win. Well, I mean, there were so many come from behind wins. I think Adam Schefter mentioned it. I think there were five, and keep in mind there was 4 teams on bye, so 2 less games. I think there were 5 games on Sunday where a team came back from 10-0 deficit. And some were early, like Washington. That was pretty early in the game. And a 10-point deficit or more, 5 or 6 teams. And then, of course, last night, Jags did the same thing. So definitely a wild week in terms of, how the games went. And, garbage time meant something different this week. We saw the Titans. The Cardinals are the perfect example of FAFO. They messed around and they lost. So that's quite interesting. Mike Robb, a quarterback with limited scrambling ability is not good for the Bengals offense line, though. I mean, I generally agree the Bengals O-line is bad. But they just need a functional quarterback. They need somebody who, there's so many passes, if you watch the last couple games of the Bengals, where when you got guys like Chase and Higgins, and honestly even guys like Gesicki and Yoshavas, who's a solid number 3 receiver, you need to throw these guys open. You need to put the ball out there. I don't think Flacco is going to be a world beater, but I just don't know if they'd win, more than 1 or 2 games with Browning. And look, the AFC is wide open for, I think, wild card spots. I think even the North right now, the Steelers are in control, but that could change quickly with the Ravens kind of struggling. Not a shot at you, Mike, but and that's why I honestly believe like the Ravens are not out of it. And even if the Ravens arrest Lamar another week, the Ravens are not out of this division, or definitely the wild card spots, because there's only truly going to be a handful of teams competing for the wild card. There's just some really bad teams in the AFC. If you look at teams like, of course, the Raiders, the Browns, both the Jets and the Dolphins, Titans. I mean, those are 5 teams. 7 teams are going to the playoffs, right? And of the 16 in the AFC, 5 are totally done. So you're talking 11 teams competing for 7 spots is kind of the way I look at it. So it just takes 1 or 2 to crumble for some reason, and then we're down now to like 9 teams for 7 spots. So I see why the Bengals need to make a move, because I think Flacco could, Browning. Let's say Burrow would miss the next 8 games, or I'll say 7 more games. I could say the buy in there also. Browning wins 2 of those, Bengals are probably dead. Why even bring Burrow back? But if Flacco can win 3 or 4, maybe they have a chance. We got Who Hames in here saying, "Sup fam, hope you're doing well." Like I said earlier, I'll be on with Who Hames at 3 p.m. Eastern time. And let's get into our first Battle Royale. We'll keep talking this news as we get in. I've only done a couple of Battle Royales so far. Done more Wildcats. I think I've done, actually, let me see, I've done 11 Wildcats, 2 BRs. So I'm going to count it down. I'll be entering in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, enter. Last 2 weeks, I've had some decent success in these dailies. I finished 40th in the Wildcat 2 weeks ago, finished 20th last week in the Wildcat. Hopefully we'll keep rising, and hoping for that kind of finish also on the BR as well. Speaking of some of things going on with Fanspeak, we just were 9-2 on our recommended props on our Substack. You can subscribe for a full year for $34.99. You can get a free week trial. So definitely check that out. Link is in the description. Should be easy to find. And we're just trying to add more and more to our Substack subscription. We started out just with the best ball, which we will have, of course, one more to join for the BR if anyone's looking. But we do DFS, we do dailies, we do props. This week we were really strong in props, came really close to some of our bigger parlays as well. So it was a good, strong week. Felt good this week, which pretty. And this is the last 3 weeks we've been really good. So feel like we're zoning in, hitting our zone a little bit more in the props market. First couple weeks were a little rougher there, but yeah, we're adjusting and seeing what we like and finding some spots. And also we really try and target plus money props when we can to also help the ROI. So we're in here. Peanut Punch is in here. We got Mike in here. DeMoney 888. I guess Chevy Chase is in here. Fletch C. That'd be amazing if it were true. But so yeah, I got the 2 spot. I did a quick rankings. I'll be doing more. I'll be releasing my Underdog Battle Royale positional rankings tonight. Be up late tonight or early tomorrow. But I really think Puka is probably the 101. I think you can make a case for any of the top 4 at the top spot. And I will take Puka too. I probably will end up with the most Puka and JT. But I really like Jacobs. I think Jacobs might be the best value because you can get him, 6, 7 sometimes. I see Puka go 1, 2, 3 basically every time. I do like JSN. It's another good receiver pool. And Puka continues to get it going, especially Evans is probably missing another week. So that feels really good. And I can't wait to talk about that game with Who Hames. That Bucks Seahawks game was fun. Both JSN and Mbuka. I mean, these Ohio State receivers are so good. Baker and Darnold were just throwing them open, throwing them to spots, and just tight coverage windows, but they're still making big plays. So going receiver first, I also kind of like because this range of running back here that you can get in the second, third feel pretty good. like through Judkins feels really strong. I actually like Rico late, a little later as well. But these next 4 running backs I really like. Judkins would be a slight reach, but we will take Javante here. I debated even moving Kyron up higher. With having Puka, don't really feel a need to overly saturate, the Rams. Now, Kyron comes back. It's tempting, especially since my other option is George Pickens. Yeah, I think I will go Kyron. I mean, sorry, Mike. I know Mike Robb's a Ravens fan, but the Ravens defense is really struggling right now. And I know they might get like how Hamilton back, I think would be the closest guy, but I'm guessing Roquan's missing another game. We'll obviously start to get some practice reports and updates on that today and tomorrow. Of course, Thursday is like the big day that really can get an understanding of where things are at. But Ravens have, I mean, look, the only team they shut down this year was the Browns. And yes, they played some really good offenses like the Bills and Lions, but they've also played, the Texans, who up until last week had not been a good offense. I could see the Rams, who've been a very good and efficient offense, and they're also very condensed. I mean, quite the field day this week. So let's check in on chat. Oh, Mike, I got confused and joined Wildcat first because I heard you say that one. Right, I know those Wildcats, Steve. We know. Appreciate you, Mike. Yeah, sorry for the confusion there. I'm on the clock. Let me make a pick. Boy, do I like T-Mac this week. It just feels like he's so close. I thought last week would be his breakout week. Could be this week. I don't mind it with the bring back. Even if it's similar to the Jets, I mean, look, it could be garbage time and it still counts. So I want a good share. I feel like that breakout is coming soon. Are we on Puka or JT 101? Yeah, I'm Puka. It's very close. I think both are. I want a ton of both. If you're the real 101, yeah, I mean, he's just in such a great spot. And his passing game usage the last 2 weeks has been so impressive. So it is notable for me there. So this might just take Waller. Did this with Meg yesterday, took Waller. Tight end really thins out this after you get past Kraft, it's not a fun tight end week. I won't take Herbert unstacked, and it's not like I'll take Gadsden. So, I mean, I could take Herbert unstacked, but it is tempting. Dolphins defense is bad. Their running backs right now are Hassan Haskins and Kamani Vidal. Maybe the Browns will make another trade and Jerome Ford will be on his way to LA, or probably just go straight to Miami. But if not, the Chargers just might have to throw the ball 50 times, 40 times this game, because I don't think you can rely on Haskins and Vidal, even against the Miami defense, to carry the team. So that is one reason to leave a wide receiver spot and take a McConkey late, or Keenan Allen. QJ sometimes slides. So we're up. I don't think Brock is playing, so I'm not even going to mess with that. I'll go Hunter Henry here. So that's the first draft in the books. Let me hit back up on chat. FK saying I'll probably treat Jacobs as the 1-3. Yeah. Like I said, the top four, I feel, are all, because even McCaffrey, like it looks like a tough matchup, and I think it is, but his usage is just undeniable right now. And I mean, few guys can get 20 points without a touchdown, right? And he's done it multiple times this year. So, that feels good. And when he does get a touchdown, yeah, he can just absolutely smash. And let's be honest, he's going to have that game soon with like 2 touchdowns, a 3-touchdown game, the JT game. And then he's just off the charts. Is Judy dead with Gabriel quarterback? And this is an interesting question, Eddie. I think Williams and I will get into this a little bit. It is definitely notable that Dylan Gabriel's first game. Now, granted, it was his first game. It was, as on the road as it gets in London, and again, still a pretty good defense. They've had some issues, but Vikings, I think, still they're missing some guys, but are a good defense. And like 3 passes were completed to wide receivers, maybe 4, and most were like screens and little short routes. Judy is like, without Tillman, he's playing more like a next role. And you find a way to get some gimmies for Judy. I think that's for sure. Right now, those gimmies are going to like Fannin and Njoku. And so I don't feel great about Judy right now. I'll be honest. Now, maybe that changes in a couple weeks when Tillman's back and, a little less Isaiah Bond. I could see some change there down the line. And just as Gabriel gets more comfortable, they open up the playbook a little bit more. Another example, Jackson Dart. Part of the reason why he kept throwing to tight ends and Scadaboo, one, Slayton got hurt, but 2, it's just especially when Slayton got hurt, there's like no talent on the outside. And so tight ends are just, a rookie quarterback's best friend. Godwin, Evans, and Buka together is going to be insane. Yes, thank you, Jeff. Yeah, when the Bucs get fully healthy, their offensive line can get healthier. Of course, Bucky coming back in it, sounds like he's going to miss another week. But when Evans and Bucky are back and that offensive line is fully healthy, Bucs offense, one of the best in the league, I think. We got my sister checking in. Yep, hitting our stride and pick some parlays for sure. I understand. Raven suck. Go get your money, Steve. Yeah. Well, yeah. The problem is I don't think McMillan's coming back anytime soon. Look, Sterling Shepard and Tez Johnson actually have looked pretty solid. So for a 4th receiver, Bucs are covered. They're good. Calvin Ridley. Yeah. There's still a lot to mislike about the Titans, but finally saw some life to Calvin Ridley. Finally saw some life to Tony Pollard. Let's take a pivot right now and just look at portfolio a little bit. Roughly where I was yesterday when talked to Meg. One thing I want to mention, our friend Hit Him With a Gritty, Mike Boldock, was talking on Twitter. He's doing great on BBM. I think he's advancing 49 out of 150. But he also broke down like his first, second, third, fourth, all the way down. And the other thing impressive about him, not only is he clearly ahead with his first and second place teams, but his third and fourth place teams, if you combine the 4, he's at like 53%, 54%, which is really, really strong. But it also shows like he's not just running pure on like his third and fourth teams are right now in second, but just don't normalize over the course of the season. Even if he loses a couple of second place teams, he's probably going to gain some third place teams. So it'll probably be pretty balanced out. He should feel pretty strong where he's at with his advance rates right now. And I kind of feel, and I talked about this yesterday, and I think it's a very important thing to keep an eye on. Like right now, my BBM, I'm advancing 16 of 80, so 20%, but I have another 16 teams in third place and another 10 teams in fourth place. So overall, I'm roughly around where Mike is. Hit Him With the Gritty. I'm like 52% in the top 4. And that's double what you'd expect. The top 4 would be 25% of the field. So I feel good about that. And something to keep in mind, Marathon, very much looking forward when BBMD gets marathon and sprint out there. But one thing I wanted to note, it's easier to see on your phone, unfortunately, like what your point total is. But I think the cutoff is 612 points, like 0.05 for the cash line right now. So, for those looking on their phone, looking at home, you don't have to search the whole leaderboard. Anything in the 612 range, you're going to be good. And I actually noticed, and like I said, it's much harder to do on this, but I actually have a fifth place team that should be in the cash right now. So it just goes to show marathon, like it's not just first and second place finishes. I have one like second place team that'd be outside the money currently, but I feel pretty good about my marathon. I think I have five teams in the top 500. I think that's what it was. So overall, I feel pretty solid where I'm at. Meg is crushing the marathon. Let's see, she's at, I believe, 40th place right now. So very well within striking distance. Yeah, M. Schaup, 40th place. So yeah, she's doing well. My first team is, I think, one. Let me see if I can find it. It's like, yeah, here it is. 155. So, and then I've got a couple other teams in like the 200s and 300s. So overall, feel pretty good where I'm at. Let me know where you guys are feeling. We got Steven WC in here, GM. Hope you're doing well. Got Peanut Punch, who's the biggest benefactor of Cincinnati signing Flacco. Speaking of where people are at right now, Peanut Punch is crushing. I think he's in second place in the BBM regular season total points right now. So he's really doing well. Biggest benefactor, I do like Raheem's answer, the Browns, but no, honestly, look, probably, the easy answer is, of course, Chase, but probably the answer is Higgins, because Chase has shown twice with Browning to get there in the game that Browning took over. Chase had a monster game. Higgins was okay. And then this last game, Chase had the monster garbage time. Higgins did get a touchdown in the end to like salvage slightly, but he was nowhere near what you'd expect for, second, third round pick. Higgins, any improvement, Chase might be more consistent, and Chase is still going to be the number one. He was even the number one in the Denver game where nobody got there. But, Chase at least had like 6 catches or whatever. Higgins might go in from being like an almost zero to, some more consistent usable weeks. Like, I don't think Higgins is going to be dropping, the 35, 40-point games he had week 17 last year. And I mean, maybe if Burrow's back then, but with Flacco, but he could have some 15-point games, 18-point games, maybe a 20-point game if we get lucky. So I will actually say Higgins is the biggest beneficiary. And I'm with you on this one. I'm hoping for a Gesicki boost as well. Yeah, the last couple of weeks was Fant kind of banged up. Gesicki just couldn't get anything done because Browning couldn't get anything done. So let's go back into the dailies. Time for a Tuesday toe drag draft. Yeah, not really into. I didn't end up doing. I considered doing some hockey, full season best ball. Definitely not going to do daily hockey. Maybe at some point, but not right now. We got kicks in here. I'm in 334th place in the drafters main event. Hoping Hampton isn't out too long because the running backs are kind of weak. Well, congrats, kicks. No, that is awesome. Actually, Eddie saying I'm in 85th. Nice. Let's take a second and go over to drafters, because I got a team in top 200 there as well. Nope, wrong button. And let's take a look at how these teams are going in the main. So this is my team I need a refresh. It's no longer 101 place, but it's close. That is the wrong one. And I still held on. Those who saw yesterday, I'm in first place in the Best Ball Mini 2. So I still held on. Nobody overtook me with last night's game. So I feel good where I'm at right now. But main event, let us look here. So this is my team. We'll look at it first. 109. So I fell a couple spots with last night's game, but not much. So feel good about that. And what I mentioned about this team is my top two running backs are on Bijan and Jacob. So it's actually a fairly healthy team so far. Got a huge Rico week with the buys. Definitely could use Higgins in this one. And feeling good about it so far. I mean, Slayton is going to probably miss some time. Definitely this week. We'll see beyond there. Eddie said he's in 84th place. Let's go look at Eddie's team. And yeah, it is important to keep in mind there is Eddie. This is the full season, so we're 5 of 14 weeks for the regular season for the underdog main type of tournaments. The 17 games, you have a little bit more time to catch up, or you need to hold on. But Eddie's doing good here. 84th place, a Baker, Penix, Russell Wilson team. Probably could have used Russ being traded to the Browns or the Bengals, but no, I mean, Baker is just absolutely dealing. And look, Penix has looked good. Bijan, Bucky. So you get Bijan back, like you said. You have Bucky. It'll be out another week, maybe 2 tops. But JCM, Scatterboo, that feels really good. Nick Chubb. Look, Nick Chubb is still, it didn't count for you, but he had a solid week. And he still seems to be ahead of Woody Marks. I know there's the weird report on Joe Mixon today. Receivers here, fire. JSN, Pickens, Mbuka, Debo. Judy, like we mentioned, might struggle a little bit, but Mims, had a tough game against Philly. But before that, he's looked fine. Trey Harris didn't do anything in this game, but he's getting on the field more. They're drawing up some plays to him. There's a play that he was wide open, but the Chargers offensive line just collapsed. And sure, that's going to happen some, but there's going to be times where he hits that. It's a crowded room, but as I said, right now, they could just be in total throw mode. So you might get a few usable weeks out of them. And then Ferg, Ertz, and then Fannin. I mean, Fannin is the one that I think feels really good with Dylan Gabriel, especially if they end up trading Njoku as well, which I would not be surprised. So that looks like a solid team. Let's go look at Kix's team. 334th place. And yeah, like also keep in mind, and I'll go over this after I look at Kix's team. There's Kix. So interesting tie, multi-tie at 809.9 points. So Jalen Hurts, Trevor Lawrence, Daniel Jones. I mean, that quarterback room feels really good. Lawrence coming through, to get an extra, almost 7 points off Hurts feels nice. And, having Daniel Jones, he's definitely not losing his job anytime soon. McCaffrey, see what you mean about Hampton. The Kamara stuff, maybe he gets traded. And I think some people overblow it. He's still getting the most snaps. He actually got an end zone target. It was a bad throw, but he got an end zone target. Scatterboo could be your savior. And Tyler Algier, a lot of usable weeks. Like you said, running back's not your strength. But if Hampton's not out too long, Algier's now past his bye. It's going to be a few weeks before like McCaffrey and Scatterboo's bye, and even Kamara's, assuming he stays on the Saints. So maybe by then Hampton's back. And so you're just getting through. You just got through Rome's bye, so Puka, Rome, Jacoby Myers, Keenan Allen, Leggett. We'll see. I mean, Coker's coming back, so slight worry there, but he got in the end zone. De'Ami Brown didn't do much last night coming back from the injury, but he's clearly an important part of that offense. And I do think that offense is just going to click more and more. Hopkins, Turpin was unfortunately out, but he's involved. So far, Lockett hasn't done much outside of save the game for him. Unfortunately, didn't count fantasy wise with that fumble recovery. But Warren, Goddard, those two feel really good. So yeah, I mean, there's a couple guys that you need to survive the injury of Hampton probably the most. But it's a fine team, and you're at 809.9. Let's just look at the top. I mean, okay, 894. It's almost 100 points. That's a nice lead he's got there, but it's very doable. And this is what I mean about it being over 17 weeks. Like, you still have a lot of time. You still have 12 weeks to make up points. So, if every week you start making up a couple of points, and even if you don't finish at the top, maybe you can finish in the top, 50, top 20, top 20, top 15, etc. So yeah, that's a very, very fun live team. Let us go. I see Eddie asking for one more team. I will look real quick. 395. I appreciate it. I'm glad to look at these teams also. So Eddie at 395. Allen, Nix, May. Love the three quarterbacks there. Surviving the Bijan bye. Maybe Jerome Ford and Kamunanga. Maybe Jerome Ford gets a better landing spot. Taylor, Dobbins feel good with Bijan. I mean, Taylor and Bijan could be, two of the top three running backs this year, it feels like. So that feels good. Cortland Sutton had a DK Metcalf bye. Diggs, I really think Diggs is going to start exploding. We see Debo clearly heavily involved. Even when Terry comes back, I think Debo's really fine here. Trey Tucker is going to be pretty involved. That's looking like a great pick. Palmer will have his spike weeks. So yeah, I mean, that's looking pretty good. And then Goddard, Henry, Jonnu, Jonnu another bye. So yeah, pretty solid overall. All right. Let's go back to Underdog. And get back into a draft. I see Eddie here asking, any idea when the resurrection will drop? I'm guessing at this point it's not happening. I haven't heard that confirmed, but that seems what it's like, what it looks like. Yeah, 3 quarterback teams looking good early. No, for sure. Especially in the 20-round format, in the full season format, I think 3 quarterback is definitely where you want to be at. Thanks for looking at that. I only drafted 3 on the main event. So yeah, no, I mean, hey, especially there, that feels really great. And Eddie, appreciate it as well. No, absolutely. All right, let's count down another Battle Royale. I will enter in 5 seconds, counting down now. Entering in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, enter. So sorry if people jumped the gun, waiting on 5. Yeah, I'm sad no resurrection either. I definitely, I think they're going to keep doing the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter. Those were fun. I didn't end up doing second quarter. I'll probably try and get in some third quarter when they drop that. But which maybe that will be this week. But yeah, no, I liked the resurrection for sure. Yeah, and the other thing, Kix, I know you said this is your first year doing best ball, so having that success early, I mean, that's impressive. So no, you should feel really good about that and really happy. Hopefully it keeps going. So let's see. Still waiting on one. Yeah, I'll be interested to see if the Browns do start trading away some pieces, because I mentioned before, I think, especially with some of these RB injuries, their own forward would make a lot of sense on a couple of teams. I think David Njoku would make a lot of sense on a couple of teams. So I could see those two getting moved fairly quickly. And, like what's the point for the Browns right now to wait on it? All right. I got the second pick again. Maybe I'm taking one of these four, obviously. We will see what I get. Need to make the first quarters and other quarters larger contests and just launch them earlier. Yeah. I mean, I was actually surprised how quickly the second quarter filled. That's I know it's a tough line for them, but yeah, any chance the chain could get traded to the Bears? I heard rumors. I mean, Bears make plenty of sense for. We will take Puka here. Bears make plenty of sense to trade for a running back for sure. I just don't know if it'll be a chain. As much as things aren't going right in Miami, the chain's like one of the few like young future pieces. I know a young running back isn't the ideal on a bad team, but I would feel a chain. I would need a pretty decent price to pry away a chain. Like even somebody, like Njoku. Njoku's not going to cost much in trade, right? Like somebody offers a 5th round pick, I could see Njoku being gone because he's, free agent after the year. While he was young entering the league, he's been in the league for, I'm trying to remember, what was it, 2017? He's been in the league a while. Like he's not exactly, like this is not even his first contract, right? So yeah, I don't think it's going to take much to get like a Jerome Ford or a David Njoku, somebody like a chain. Even Kamara would cost a bit more, just because he's still actually doing it at a decent level. But Bears should make some sort of upgrade. I mean, Swift just doesn't seem to be doing it. Maybe they gave Monanga a few more carries or for the bye. Maybe they work him in more. We don't get any updates on the status of Roshan. So that's been fascinating to me these last few weeks. We'll see if we get any anytime soon. All right, I'm going Genti here. So Genti, Puka. I take Kyron if he comes back like the last time. We'll see. Might reach for a tight end just because, like I said, tight end gets so thin, and probably won't reach for Ferg. I mean, I could try and grab Dak if he's there and hope Ferg is there. I think that's a fine play. But if Ferg's not there, then it's not a great play. I'll do it though. I really like Dak this week. I do think he's kind of with Lamar almost assuredly out. I think Dak is a bit of a tier above the other quarterbacks. I mean, we obviously know what Baker can do. And he has a little rushing ability. May has a little rushing ability. Herbert and Love do as well. So yeah, they can get to 30 points, high 20s, low 30s. Stafford feels kind of capped at like the 25, 26 range. He did get 27 a couple weeks ago, but like that's kind of the ceiling, right? Like he's not going to get 30. Dak probably has the best chance at 30. We've actually seen him run a little bit more than we did last year. Granted, got hurt early. So we'll see. But I do think there is a gap between Dak and the rest of the quarterbacks. I kind of feel like you're taking Dak in this 3rd round range, or you're waiting until the 6th round at quarterback. For me, fifth, late 5th, 6th round. That's kind of how I'm going to play it, I think, for the most part this week. So I'll take Ferg here if I get him. Second quarter, my advance rate is awful. Sorry about that, Eddie. Hope it can improve these next couple weeks and keep getting through. So here, it's kind of a decision between Rico or Diggs. Rico would be a bring back. So that's interesting, but I do want a lot of Diggs. Back-to-back 100-yard games feels like, the best is yet to come. It's a bit of a slide for Diggs, even though Rico's a bring back. I like the slide for Diggs. I think it helps make it a slightly more unique of a build. We talk about the pull-up for these drafts all the time, help make things unique. Another thing that can help make it unique is if you see a guy who slides like essentially a round or more, round and a half, that just changes that kind of build becomes a lot more unique. I'm not saying there's not going to be another team with this start, of course, but I'm guessing most people who even have that opportunity of Diggs Dowdle go Dowdle. So we'll see if it's the right call or not. That's the one team won it. Well, that's always good. Also heard rumors that Kamara could go to the Bears, especially after he threw out the first pitch at Cubs game. Yeah, I mean, that's been trending for a while. I know Nick Underhill said a lot of teams are, sniffing around the Saints. Nick Underhill's Saints beat writer. For trades, he did mention when asked to clarify in comments, I saw on Twitter, he said he still thinks Kamara stays with the team because I think, what's a new coach in Kellen Moore, and I don't think Kellen Moore's anti, Alvin Kamara, but it's still like the same GM ownership, etc. And they seem to be very pro Kamara. So this worked out for me as Rico's still there. I think Hubbard's still missing this game. I know that that's a risk. Like if Hubbard doesn't miss, then you're just SOL. And so I get why some people hesitate on that. But, something like this to get Rico around later, to get Diggs essentially around later, that feels good. So 1-2-2-1, Dak, Genty, Rico, Puka, Diggs, Jake Ferg. So we'll see. I mean, Nick Underhill, I know, is pretty plugged in. Maybe Kamara gets moved, maybe not. Even if he doesn't, I still think he could be fine. The offense just needs more consistency. The other thing to keep in mind with that Saints game is they essentially had 2 one-play drives. The fumble return for a touchdown, didn't even get an offensive play, and then the 87-yard Shaheed touchdown. So they, it's a below-average offense who, quarterback play that's not on the field for sustained drives. It's hard for anyone else to get there. I mean, Shaheed was kind of the only guy who got there. I don't really see many actual starting RBs getting traded. Feel like the best we could get would be Justice Hill type. These Ravens lose a bit more. Yeah, no, I think that's probably more likely. Like the Jerome Fords, if Antonio Gibson didn't get injured, he might have been on the trade block as Henderson takes over more. I think think maybe you could find a couple other cases of like, teams starting to fall off. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it would be great to feel like, like a Kamara on a bad team, or, I mean, obviously not Derrick Henry, but I don't even know if the Ravens will fall that hard. But I don't even think we're not going to see like Zach Charbonnet get traded, right? Like, I mean, Kenneth Walker's great. He looks great, but Charbonnet is his handcuff, and Seahawks have a lot to compete for, so they're not going to move him. I know it's weird to say because obviously Washington traded away Brian Robinson right before the season, but at the time they, of course, didn't know about Eckler and felt comfortable with guys like JCM and Chris Rodriguez. But yeah, I wouldn't expect many of those types of trades. And also right now, it's like it is going to be mainly teams who are not competitive. So, you look in the NFC, there's not many teams in the NFC that you'd say are not competitive teams, like Carolina, Saints, Giants. That's about, kind of about it. I mean, Cardinals don't have a running back to trade. They'd be maybe the next non-competitive team. It's like, if you're in the NFC North, I don't think anyone's out of it. Even the Bears, who don't have the best record. I mean, they had the bye, could really, they flashed enough that I'd be excited enough with them, with their future. 350 yards thrown and 4 passing touchdowns is 30 points. Honestly, versus the Ravens, that's very doable for Stafford. No, that is true. No doubt about that. We got Paul in here, Legion 13. Ooh, BBMD said I lost second only matchup by less 7.5 after closer inspection. BBMD counted the Lockett fumble as a touchdown while Underdog did not. Yeah. So, wow, that is interesting. So so I forget, Paul, how many limbs do you have left? But congrats if you got another limb through. That's awesome. We got Fantasy Football Garage in here saying, "What up, Steve? Hope you're doing well." Candyman, always good chatting with you. How are your teams going so far? And what are your thoughts on the big Flacco trade? We'll get into another draft in a second. And just wanted to see any other news. Oh, saw this report. Bengals never even called Giants about trading for Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. Interesting call. And then CJ Gardner-Johnson to sign with the Ravens practice squad. So Ravens are adding a good player. Hopefully they can keep us, keep us focused. All right, let's get into another Battle Royale. I will counting down now, entering in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, enter. Eddie saying $121 on weekly winners. Nice. Yeah, I've not done well on weekly winners so far. I think I only have 1 cash so far. Doing good. Need CD to come back soon. Maybe Flacco positive for Higgins. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. I actually think the Flacco trade is the best for Higgins. I mean, we'll help Jamar a little bit, but we've already seen Jamar able to get there a couple times with Browning. Higgins has really not done much with Browning. So I think any upgrade at the quarterback position, Chase has helped some, but Higgins probably gets the greatest amount of help. Ravens had another good player. I mean, look, I think there's no question Gardner Johnson is a really good football player. Just a lot of teams keep giving up on him. Not a great sign. I know you're not a fan of the Ravens leadership and coaching and stuff like that. So slight consideration, but hey, they're trying to make big moves. You're not finding many talented players on the open market right now. Meg saying her team with Candyman is actually advancing in BBM right now. Paul saying, going back to the limb, we got 6 of 14 through this week. Would have we fallen far since being listed in that week 3 top advancer report? Well, hey, 6 of 14. I mean, slightly below average, but still. I can't remember. Did you max or not? That is quite. Having 6 teams available is still about, I believe, above what the field should expect. I think right now I had done the math. I thought it was like 4. So you're still ahead, if I'm not mistaken. So that feels good. I probably won't. Maybe I will. I can't, I don't even know what day I need to get them in by, but just things are so busy right now. I don't see myself getting to it. All right, we're in here. Peanut Punch is in here. I recognize some other names, but nobody else probably in the chat. If you're in the chat, feel free to say hi. Little Fonz, Miranda writes, Ginobili MVP, Taz Farrell. I got the 6th spot. Definitely not the spot I like this week. But yeah. As a Bear fan, just wishful thinking on my part. Maybe Monkai. I wouldn't, I think you'd be surprised. Monangai. He might be pretty solid. I'd still maybe look to add somebody just in case. But yeah, I think the Bears are going to be fun. Like they look great against Dallas. They've just not been consistent. But there's a lot of upside there. I think Adunze is a stud. Yeah, no, let's go. Let's hope that team keeps going. I did some NHL best ball drafts for the first time. Yeah, I've done both NHL and NBA in the past. Didn't do any NHL this year. Maybe I'll get an NBA team in, but probably not at this point. So I think it's maybe if it's 2 weeks from now. I can't remember when you have to get them in by. Okay, Jacobs is an easy win here for me, and yeah, Jacobs, Javante, feel good. Yeah, NHL is done. Yeah, locks in 59 minutes. I won't be getting any of those in. So I know there's like overlay there. So, if you're in those sports, I definitely recommend, try and chase it some. Right. So like that Jacobs, Javante start for sure. No, so it's closer field than I thought it'd be, 95.4%. Definitely not going to fill at that rate, but 96%. So they go to pretty well. So I think baseball is only like 92%. Could be wrong. So coming up here, T-Mac is a bring back. So I don't love the Cardinals offense, but McBride probably going to take a tight end here just so I'm not totally boxed out. And I will go Diggs as my top receiver. So 2-1-1 to start. Plenty of receivers to get. Now can target May as a quarterback. Herbert would be another guy. You could go Kyler. It just doesn't feel good. He'll be low owned. DK had a monster game in Ireland before the bye. Don't love the matchup against Cleveland. Waddle is fine. He did get there with the big touchdown, but tough to trust that passing offense. Brian Thomas actually looked pretty solid last night. Seattle secondary is banged up. Total targets, total pass attempts, but I do think that offense is just going to get more and more. Pittman's kind of the same. There's just so many mouths to feed, but it would be a little bring back to, Bride. So some interesting names, and of course another Keenan Allen, and who we mentioned him earlier, Calvin Ridley had his breakout game with Ward. So definitely a guy that I will mix in some in the 6th round as well. But probably will do it when I'm more at the other side, like the last pick in the draft. So Herbert went, so I can't double up there. Definitely will take May. I think I'll go Brian Thomas. I mean, only 6 targets, not great. 80 yards, he did get the downfield shot. I think the Jags' pass attack is going to get better. Seattle defense, secondary is not great. A lot of injuries right now. We'll take a shot on it. So 1, 2, 2, 1. That's my almost, what I will almost always do for the 6-man contests. But solid build. Jacobs, Javonte, hopefully monster weeks there. Diggs, May. I mean, that connection is looking so good. I think Diggs, there's like a 40% target share in the game against Buffalo. And when he's out there, he's still not running every route. When he's out there, he's getting targeted. We've seen the last couple of weeks, 100-yard games. Saints defense is one that I think is very exploitable. Yeah, Ridley would have made sense to bring back there. Do you do any stacking in this tournament? Game stacking for the Battle Royales? I mean, I think having bringbacks can work. Even if you don't have the right quarterback, let's say you did Dak Ferguson. What was very viable was Mbuka and JSN. If you could have gotten both of those guys. So it can work. It's definitely can get overhyped and overplayed. But if you are on the right game, sure, it makes a lot of sense. But it's one of those, even in that Dallas game where Javonte was a stud, Dak was a stud, Ferg was a stud. I mean, Garrett Wilson was okay. Breece Hall was a little better than that, but they were not likely to put you in the top 1%. So I do it some. It can be a tiebreaker, just to mix it up, sure. But end of the day, it's not the be all end all that some people make it out to be. Because just remember, it's 6 people, 6 rounds, just 36 players off the board, type of thing. Eddie saying, chance to Shador gets start this year. Give me a percentage. I mean, there was a rumor before the game, Sanders will probably start at some point, particularly now that Flacco's traded. That's even going to be increased because now he'll be working as a number 2. So he'll get more reps, in practice, because I'm sure in last week, and Flacco was a veteran that they didn't necessarily have to give as many reps to, but he'll just get more reps now in practice, working scout team, etc. And I think it all depends. I mean, Gabriel goes out and wins a couple games for him, which probably the Browns don't want to have happen, or just looks really good, then it could go lower. But I'll say it's probably a 40% chance. I think it's, and I say that pretty likely. I think 40% means a very likelihood of him starting a couple games. And I think if, because it's, and of course, if you add in like injury factor, then it's probably even higher than that. But just like even assuming health, probably 40%. Yeah, need Thielen to do something. It's interesting. I mean, they traded like a decent pick for him and just not using him. So kicks, yeah, I mean, it is like DFS, and there can be that factor. It's just with the smaller rosters, it's a little less. Like in DFS, it can make some more sense, just because like you're also looking at it from a total price, like the total price of a certain stack versus another stack, and then a bring back. So if it's like you get that game right, you're now equating 3 or 4 pieces from a single game that really goes off. With this, it can just be a little tougher because you don't have a say. Like since you're not determining the price, like some players are going to be impossible to stack together, right? Like just looking at the board and can vary week to week, but I mean, Miranda Rights did get Taylor Genti. That's not always going to be doable. Like it's just it's not going to be as common. Like certain ones are going to be more common. Like you can probably get T-Mac since there's multiple Cowboys you can bring back. That's easier. But when there's like one guy, like say San Francisco, it's just going to be harder to get the right kind of combos that you want. Ravens are kind of the same right now. Like there's very viable Rams. They all go in the first couple first 2 rounds here. I mean Stafford later, but Henry's like the only Raven I'd be bringing it back with. So I think it depends. I know it's a kind of a hedging answer, but that's kind of how I feel. Like I do it when it fits, but I don't want to like have every team needing to bring back, needing to get 4 players. But sometimes I think you should do that. Like if you're playing at volume, you should definitely have some lineups that way. So let's do one more, and we'll probably get out of here because I am joining Who Games at 3. I will drop the link in the chat before we get out of here. So we'll do one more Battle Royale and count it down here, entering in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, enter. And verifying location. Well, that sucked. Sorry about that, guys. I mean, I've just done multiple drafts. Give me a second. Let me refresh. So sorry for jumping the gun. Anyone who tried to jump in, Underdog did not want us matched up. So I'll be entering again in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, enter. You're required to disable any developer tools that are running in your browser. Oh, geez. Sorry. I don't know what this means about overlay. So I won't even try and count down this time. Hope everyone else is not having that issue. So that's annoying. So I'm just going to enter and hope this works. I can pull up my phone, but did that work? What is going on? No active. Not ideal. All right. To verify your location, I did. Disable data tools and try again. What is going on? Boy. All right, I'm going to enter my phone. Hope it works. I don't know what's going on with Underdog. Let me know if you guys are having issues. This is not fun. So I do want to get one more in. I'll enter my phone and then jump over. Hopefully it works. Jump over to computer. So I will be entering now. Okay, draft starting soon. All right, sorry about that for anyone trying to jump in draft with me. Makes sense. Only use phone for UD, but works there. Quid pro quo. None of my completed NHL drafts showing up in portfolios. Only issue here. Interesting. Yeah, they must be doing some sort of update or something for at least definitely for the desktop. So hopefully that's not an issue going forward. And we are starting now. All right, at the fifth spot, I don't think Puka will be there, but I'll just take one of those. I do like JSN this week. I mean, he seems to be matchup proof at this point. And, Jags defense is good, but their secondary is their weakest point. And I think JSN could have a really big game. I think he's just great target share, getting downfield targets, getting end zone targets, red zone targets. That touchdown pass Darnold threw to Smith and Jigbo was gorgeous. I mean, that connection is going to be real good this year. I will go. Yeah, I'll go Kyron. Appreciate for letting me know, and good luck. Hopefully it fixes for you as well. Peanut Punch. Hopefully they are adding leaderboards to all BB contests. Yeah, that'd be nice. I mean, I love BBMD. I think it's really good. I also really like that you can look at like how far back you are or how far ahead you are, because it's like, you look at them and there are some fifth place teams that are higher than your third place teams. But yeah, it'd be nice to have leaderboards for everything. Meg checking in. Yeah, very exciting. Yeah, good luck to you. Hope I don't think it'll be one of us getting the top prize. So hopefully you can come away with a peanut. That'd be fun for sure. I'm hoping right now. I think I have 2 teams in the top 10,000. I'd love to have like 3 or 4 just to get a better ROI on the BBM, considering it's such a gauntlet once you get to the playoffs. But we shall see. I really like Tyler Warren this week. I mean, he was off to such a good start last week. And then they just stopped throwing. So I feel like this game could be a little slow. Arizona's offense is not a fun one, but I don't mind targeting it. Judkins versus Pittsburgh. Definitely if he's there 20, which he should be. Yeah, so I'll wait on running back. I actually pull up Kraft because tight end, it's these 4 guys, and then I don't want another tight end. So I think I'm going to, as much as I like the receivers, Adams and T-Mac and Diggs, I'm going to go Karn and Judkins here. So Judkins does have a tougher matchup versus the Steelers coming off a bye. Steelers at home. Steelers struggled the first 2 weeks on defensively as a whole, particularly on the ground. Well, as a whole for sure, but on the ground they've really improved. Last 2 weeks I think they've to the Patriots and Vikings. I think they allowed just a combined like 3.2 yards per carry. So Steelers defense looking really good the last couple of weeks. We'll see if it continues, but Judkins could just be matchup proof himself. It's bad offense as a whole, but he's the one piece of that team that I don't mind investing in. Yeah. Well, no, I mean, you're off to a great start, and that has to feel real good, and hopefully that team can stay healthy and stay very live. I will get out of here after this draft. I'll drop in the link to Who Games channel. You go take a minute before jump on with Who Games and get ready here. I think I'm going to go Herbert and just take a Chargers receiver with this last pick. We'll go Ladd. He had 7 targets, 5 catches, had the touchdown. Could have had a punt return for a touchdown. Not that you can really count on that, but if the Chargers passing attack was viable throughout the game, he would have had a much better game, obviously. So that's going to be my last team on stream. Let me get the Who Games link, so we will have that be on at 3 o'clock there. And we are going to break it down all the games like we do every week. Definitely a lot to talk about, and should be a fun stream. A lot of crazy games at the end. And all right. So join us at 3. Let me know if you have any other questions before we get out of here. Who Games checking in. I was first on Fast Draft after week 3 and 4, but lost a player a week. I remember you mentioning that. So yeah, and we are going to get we're going to get out of here. But hope everyone is doing well. Good luck with the drafts. And we will catch you next time. Tonight, we got Spread and Tyler doing their like kind of picks and talk of the week. Tomorrow is Degen Dads at night. Meg and I will be on Thursday, and then Friday, Meg, Tyler, and I will do the prop show, prop party, and then another Degen Dad show at night. So hope everyone is doing well, and don't forget to check out our Fanspeak Substack subscription, just $34.99. You get your prop bets, you get your DFS, you get Battle Royale content, all for one single payment for a year. So, and you can sign up for a week to check it out for free. So, without having to pay. So, thank you everyone for all your support on Twitter, on YouTube, on our Substack. We appreciate you. Hope everyone has a great day, and I will catch you next time.